My fiancé's family invited me to a small gathering at his parents' house. When I arrived, they handed me a folder and said, "Sign these, or you'll regret it." I smirked, pulled out my own folder, and said, "Actually, I have a surprise for you too." Liam's jaw dropped when he saw what it was. I knew something was off the moment I got the message. It was from his sister, Natalie. We were never close, in fact, she never texted me directly unless it was to relay a message from their mother or complain about something I'd done wrong. So when I saw her name pop up on my phone, my stomach turned. "Hey, we're having a little family meeting this Saturday at Dad's place. It's important. Be there at 2 p.m. It's a surprise, so don't tell Liam." "No, hope you can make it." No friendly greeting. Just an order. I showed the text to my best friend, Isla, and she raised an eyebrow. "That sounds sketchy. Why wouldn't Liam know about it?" Good question. Liam was incredibly close to his family. If they were planning something, he'd usually be the first to know. The fact that they didn't tell him made me suspicious. Was it some kind of intervention? A family crisis? I texted back. "Sure. See you then." I didn't tell Liam. I wanted to see what was going on first. Saturday came, and I drove to his father's house, a massive estate on the outskirts of Boston, the kind of place that looked elegant but felt cold. The moment I stepped inside, I knew this wasn't just a family gathering. Liam's entire family was there, his father, his mother, Natalie, his two older brothers, and even his uncle and aunt, who had flown in from another state. They were seated in the living room like some kind of tribunal, and in the center of the coffee table was a thick folder. The air was tense. "Sit down," his mother said. I didn't. Instead, I crossed my arms. "What's going on?" Liam's father, Peter, picked up the folder and slid it toward me. "We need you to sign these. It's for the best." I stepped forward and glanced at the top page. Divorce papers. I let out a breathy laugh. "Are you serious?" His mother folded her hands neatly. "We've talked it over, and it's clear you're not a good fit for this family. You don't respect our traditions, you don't contribute the way a fiancé should, and you've become a distraction to Liam's future." "A distraction?" Natalie smirked. "Let's not act surprised. You know you don't belong here. We're giving you the chance to walk away quietly before it gets messy." The audacity. They weren't asking me to leave. They were telling me. I chuckled. "Where is Liam?" His father shifted in his seat. "He's not here. He doesn't know about this yet. We wanted to handle it before he had to deal with." I held up a hand. "So let me get this straight. You ambushed me. You drafted up divorce papers, without his knowledge, and you expect me to sign them because you said so?" His mother gave a tight-lipped smile. "It's for the best." That's when I smirked. I reached into my bag, pulled out a folder of my own, and tossed it onto the table. "Actually," I said, "I have a surprise for you too." They stared at it like it might explode. Peter was the first to grab it. As he flipped through the pages, his face turned redder with each one. His hands shook. "What is this?" I leaned in slightly. "Proof." His mother snatched the papers, skimming through them in horror. Natalie grabbed a page and gasped. "How did you?" "I've known for a while," I said. "I was just waiting for the right moment." I checked my watch. And guess what? That moment is now. His father's face contorted with rage. "This is fake. There's no way." "Oh, but there is." I tilted my head. "And you just proved you recognize exactly what's in those documents. Otherwise, why would you be so scared?" Silence. Then, right on cue, the front door opened. Liam stepped inside, looking confused. "Hey, Dad said there was some kind of..." He stopped mid-sentence, his eyes darting between the divorce papers on the table and the folder I had just thrown down. "What the hell is going on?" His mother jumped up. "Liam, sweetheart, just sit down. We can explain." I cut her off. "You should sit down, Liam. You're going to want to hear this." Then, I turned to him and dropped the bombshell. "Your family tried to ambush me into signing divorce papers behind your back. But they didn't expect me to have my own paperwork." He frowned. "What?" I stepped forward and tapped my folder. That's everything I've uncovered over the past few months. Bank records. Hidden transactions. Emails. You might want to take a look. Liam hesitated before flipping through the pages. His face drained of color. His breath hitched. Dad, his voice shook. What the hell is this? His father didn't answer. Mom? Liam's voice grew louder. Tell me this isn't real. She wouldn't even look at him. I crossed my arms. It's real, Liam. Your dad has been draining your accounts for years, using your money to cover business failures, bad investments, and oh, let's not forget bailing Natalie out of debt. Liam looked like he'd been hit by a truck. He turned back to the papers, flipping through them faster now. His breathing was uneven. This isn't possible. Oh, it is, I said. And it gets worse. I pointed at a specific page. Your parents used our house as collateral for one of their failed business loans. And guess what? That loan defaulted. If we hadn't caught it in time, we would have lost everything. Liam's hands shook as he turned to his father. You did what? His father clenched his jaw so hard I thought his teeth might crack. But I wasn't done. I wasn't done. Your family set me up as the villain, Liam, I continued, my voice cold. They made me out to be a distraction while they drained you dry. And now that I know the truth, they wanted to get rid of me before I could tell you. Natalie snapped. That's a damn lie. I turned to her, completely unfazed. Oh? You sure about that? I reached into my bag again and pulled out something else, a printed copy of her messages. Maybe you'd like to explain why you were texting your friend about how easy it was to trick Liam into signing financial documents without reading them? Natalie's face turned bright red. You. I cut her off. I have screenshots. Your conversations. Your bank transfers. Everything. I turned to Liam. Your family isn't just manipulative. They're criminals. His father slammed his fist on the table. That's enough. I turned to him slowly, locking eyes. Oh, you don't get to decide that anymore. Liam was breathing hard now, staring at his parents like they were strangers. His mother finally spoke, her voice shaky but desperate. Liam, honey, we did this for you. Everything we did was to help you. Don't, Liam snapped, his voice raw, broken. Just don't. His mother flinched, her mouth snapping shut. For the first time, I saw real fear in her eyes. Because Liam wasn't their puppet anymore. He turned to me, his eyes filled with something I hadn't seen in a long time, clarity. His gaze shifted from the divorce papers they had shoved at me earlier to my folder, the one filled with the truth. The one that would destroy his family's grip on him forever. His voice was quiet but firm. What do we do next? I smiled. First, I said, sliding a pen across the table, you sign my papers. Liam stared at the pen in front of him. His hands were still shaking, but his eyes, those betrayed, furious eyes, stayed locked on his parents. His mother was pale, her lips pressed into a thin line. His father looked like he was barely containing his rage. And Natalie? She was seething. I could feel the weight of the moment. If Liam signed my papers, everything his family had built, their control, their access to his money, their ability to manipulate him, would crumble. But before he could reach for the pen, his father shot up from his seat so fast that his chair scraped loudly against the floor. No, Peter growled, his voice low, full of warning. You are not signing that. Liam flinched. But I didn't. Oh, he's signing it, I said, leaning forward, and after that, we're pressing charges. Fraud, identity theft, financial manipulation, I'm sure a forensic accountant will have a field day with this. Peter's face turned a dangerous shade of red. His hands clenched into fists. You think you can come into my house and threaten me? I smirked. Not a threat. Just a fact. Then his mother spoke up, her voice trembling but still laced with desperation. Liam, sweetheart, don't do this, she pleaded. Think of your family. Think of everything we've done for you. Liam looked at her, his jaw tight. You stole from me, he said, his voice hoarse but filled with steel. You lied to me. You nearly made me lose everything. His mother reached for his hand, but he pulled away like her touch burned. Please, sweetheart, she whispered. We love you. I snorted. Yeah. Funny kind of love. Then I turned to Natalie, who had been too quiet for too long. You've got nothing to say? I taunted. No snarky remarks? No little digs? Or are you too busy thinking about how screwed you are? Natalie's mouth opened and closed like a fish. She looked at her father, then her mother, then back at me. Then, suddenly, she snapped. You want the truth? She hissed, stepping toward me. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, please. Give me the truth. I love the truth. Natalie sneered. Fine. You were never part of this family. We tolerated you. You were an outsider from the beginning. The only reason my parents didn't push you out sooner is because Liam was too stupid to see through you. Liam's fists clenched. But she wasn't done. You're nothing without Liam, she spat. What are you going to do when this is over? You think you'll just walk away and be fine? Newsflash, Liam's success came from us. His connections? Ours. His opportunities? Ours. You take him away from us, and you'll see just how fast your life falls apart. I tilted my head. That so? Natalie smirked, crossing her arms. Yeah. So go ahead. Leave. Divorce him. Take whatever pathetic little revenge you think you have. But at the end of the day, we win. I chuckled. And then, without breaking eye contact, I pulled out another folder. Her smirk faltered. What is that? I grinned. Oh, Natalie. I tapped the folder against my palm. Did you really think I wouldn't dig extra deep before coming here? I tossed the folder onto the table, right next to the divorce papers. Ladies and gentlemen, I said, dramatically waving my hands, let's talk about embezzlement. Natalie went stiff. Her father's head snapped toward her so fast I thought he might get whiplash. What? I nodded toward the folder. Turns out little miss, I'm so superior, has been skimming money from your family's accounts for years. Natalie's face drained of color. That's a lie. I opened the folder and pulled out the evidence. Bank records. Wire transfers. Fake invoices. Payments to herself disguised as business expenses. Oh, and my favorite part. Do you recognize this name? I slid a specific page toward Liam. Liam frowned, reading it. Then his eyes widened. This is Ethan. Natalie's eyes went wild. Shut up. Liam looked at her, realization dawning. Ethan? The guy you swore was just a friend? The one you said you never had anything with? Silence. Wow. I shook my head. Not only did you steal from your own family, but you funneled money to your side piece. Natalie lunged at me, but Peter grabbed her arm. Is this true? His voice was low. Dangerous. She yanked her arm away but didn't answer, because she couldn't. Her father's face twisted in fury. You idiot, he bellowed. Do you have any idea what you've done? His mother's hands flew to her mouth. Natalie, please tell me this isn't true. But the look on her face said everything. Oh, this was delicious. Phase 1, Financial Ruin. Liam's father, Peter, was still flipping through the pages, his hands shaking, his face pale. His empire, the business he had spent years building, the wealth they flaunted, was now nothing more than a ticking time bomb. And I had just lit the fuse. This is a disaster, Peter muttered under his breath. Yep, I said, grinning. And now it's your problem. Liam looked at me, his expression unreadable. Then, without hesitation, he picked up the pen and signed the papers. The final break. The end of their control. Peter exhaled sharply, gripping the edge of the table. You're going to regret this, he spat. I smiled. Oh, I don't think so. Then, I picked up my papers, grabbed Liam's hand, and walked out the door, leaving their perfect little world in ruins. But I wasn't done yet. Revenge? Oh, it's best served slow and public. First, I turned everything I had over to a lawyer and a forensic accountant. Turns out, when you mess with money this much, the IRS gets very interested. Within weeks, Peter's company was under investigation. His shady loans, his fake reports, the years of fraud, all of it came crashing down. And since he had put up their family home, yes, their multi-million-dollar estate, as collateral for some of his bad investments, the bank came knocking. Their house? Gone. Their cars? Repossessed. The family business? Collapsed. Lawsuits piled up, and the government started digging deeper. I heard through a mutual friend that Liam's mother had a full-blown breakdown the day the bank seized their house. I wish I could say I felt bad. I didn't. Phase 2, Natalie's fall from grace. Ah, Natalie. The golden child. The one who thought she was untouchable. Guess what? She got touched. By the law. The money she embezzled? The fake invoices? The hidden payments to her little boyfriend Ethan? All of it was turned over to the authorities. And here's the best part, since her father's business was already under scrutiny, there was no one left to cover for her. She was charged with fraud. Money laundering. Theft. When she was arrested, I actually popped a bottle of champagne. She tried to play the victim, but oh, karma wasn't having it. I made sure her employer knew everything. She was fired, publicly. No references. No second chances. And Ethan? Vanished the moment things got bad. Left her to deal with the mess alone. Last I heard, she was working a miserable job, drowning in debt, and completely shunned by the high society crowd she used to brag about being part of. Good riddance. Phase 3, the divorce and freedom. Liam and I finalized our divorce quickly. I got everything I was entitled to, my share of our assets, the house they tried to gamble away, and most importantly, my peace of mind. Liam? He wasn't innocent in all of this. He had been blind for too long, letting his family walk all over him. But I could see now, he was done with them. Once the truth hit him, he never spoke to his parents or Natalie again. I'll give him credit, he didn't fight me on the divorce. He signed everything, apologized for being blind to the truth, and walked away from them forever. And me? I took my settlement, moved to a new city, and built a beautiful new life for myself. A life where I was finally free. Final nail in the coffin. The last thing I did? I made sure everyone in their social circle knew what happened. The elite families they used to rub shoulders with? The high-end business contacts? Their so-called friends? All of them saw the truth. They became the talk of the town, not for their success, but for their shame. No one wanted to be associated with them. They were ruined. And me? I was thriving. Because sometimes, revenge isn't just about getting back at someone. Sometimes, it's about watching them crumble under the weight of their own mistakes. And I had front row seats. Thank you for watching the video, like it if you watched the video to the end and don't forget to subscribe. Have a nice day.